kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just remember. Just remember. Just remember. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just remember. Just remember. Just remember. Just remember.
Welcome, everybody, into Sim Racing Media tonight. The drivers of the J&M Group Industrial Services Winston Cup Series presented by Roberts Ballscrew are in the desert of Las Vegas, and they're looking to put on a show here tonight. Mike Timoni up in the booth. Joined with me is Liam. Liam, man, how's it going, bud?
Fantastic. These guys are ready to duel in the desert and put the high stakes up, try to see if they can get the high reward. It's a gamble here in Las Vegas, just a couple, maybe 20 miles away from the strip here. Doesn't mean that the high stakes rollers are going to be far away. We've got a lot of big names here ready to rock and rumble. Matt Metler getting out there right now. He's got the fastest lap in qualifying. Now Todd Merkel jumps up there.
Yeah, Todd Merkel, Ryan Farrell. We're looking at Johnny Wood Jr. right now. Last week's winner led 111 of the 125 laps last week at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Looking to take his chances here in Las Vegas. One thing of note here tonight, this is going to be one of the fuel strategy races that are on the calendar tonight. We got 60% fuel. Talking to some of the drivers, it looks like it's 35 laps, give or take. But they also only have 2 sets of tires in the pits, so lots of strategy is going to come into play tonight.
Yeah, with 100 laps in this race, it seems pretty straightforward on paper. You can make it 35 laps on fuel, and you've got 2 sets of tires in the pits. Theoretically, you come in, you split this thing into thirds, and you utilize those tires so that all 3 sets are going to get that 33 to 34 lap run. However, this is not an on-paper type of race. We've got 22 drivers out here with completely different mentalities, and these are all human beings. We're going to see some cautions throughout the course of this thing. We're going to see some wrenches thrown into the strategy of these drivers. With only 2 sets of tires, going to make things real interesting when we get to the end of this thing.
Yeah, it definitely is. As Maxwell Caldwell made his second lap of 29.82, good enough for P6. Michael Matta coming down Nellis straightaway, looking to see if he can go a little bit faster. 30.03 for his first time by. A little bit faster, 29.83, good enough for P8.
And Matt Metler, the first driver to put down a qualifying lap, he falls all the way down to 9th. Johnny Wood Jr., last week's winner, he's all the way down outside of the top 10.
Yeah, current.
Like most everybody has put down both of their qualifying laps. We'll see if Josh Tarrant-Hill or Michael Brooks are looking at maybe getting out onto the racetrack in this final minute of qualifying.
Yeah, they're not going to have quite enough time as these guys try and get it locked and loaded pretty quickly here. Tarrant Hill and Michael Brooks. Michael Brooks, if you remember a couple weeks ago, wound up winning their opener in Daytona, but he had connections issues. He went clear to the back, wound up working his way through the field, and won on a fuel strategy call as everybody around him ran out of fuel just before the line.
I mean, what an incredible way to get a win. We get ready here. Just a couple of seconds before we see our favorite drivers of Monday night. Ready, gridded up, waiting for that pace car to roll. Justin Lewis looks to be sitting on the pole here as the qualifying time expires. And yes, Justin Lewis going to take over the pole here in Las Vegas. Adam Brady is going to roll off on his outside in row number 1. Fantastic qualifying effort from both of these drivers, being able to get down into, I believe, the 29.7s in terms of qualifying time. Yes, 29.75 for your pole sitter, Justin Lewis. And AB in second, 29.77. Row number 2 is going to be made up with Ronnie Hurst and Pharrell Ryan, apologies. Todd Merkel and Maxwell Caldwell going to be in row number 3. Chad Jones and Michael Matta make up row number 4. Matt Metler and Andrew Polici, your points leader, round out the top 10.
And then we go on back. We have Johnny Wood Jr., last week's winner, with Chad Waller, newcomer, if I'm not mistaken. Then you have Andrew McKenzie and Trevor Dalton in row 7. Row 8, Derek Wagman and Chris Myers. Joshua Yarborough and Jason Crumley in row 9. Row 10 is going to be Adam Lowe and John Shanebackler. Josh Tarrant-Hill and Michael Brooks are going to start on the tail end here. But as we said, it's going to be a strategy race, so where you start is not going to matter near as much as what strategy is going to bring you to the front.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, they do have a couple of options here. Obviously, you don't want to see your tires wear out super early in the race, and you don't want to see your fuel get used up too soon. So I would anticipate some of these guys trying to save tire early on, save fuel early on, so they can push that limit past that 35 lap limit. Maybe they can set themselves up with a shorter run at the end, and maybe cautions could fall their way. But I tell you what, Mike, when you've only got 2 sets of tires in a 100-lap race, you almost don't want to see a caution. That almost hurts your plans.
Yeah, that is, if you already have it set up, you have got to be thinking it's going to go relatively caution-free. Take it for what it's worth. I mean, we've seen these races go caution-free, and we've seen them have a ton of caution. So try and use your strategy. Try and figure out where you want to be. And like you said, maybe at one point in time in on a caution, you don't take tires. You try and save it for the end to be a little bit quicker at the end.
And who knows, if we get to green flag racing at the end, we find out maybe tires aren't wearing as much as we expected throughout the course of this race. Maybe you'll see somebody try a 2-tire stop in the middle of this race, or maybe even at the end. However, if this goes anything like Sunday Night NASCAR did with Dave Regal and I up in the booth, we're going to see a lot of comers and goers here, Mike. And these guys aren't going to have as many opportunities to change tires. So they're going to be really thinking about how to keep those tires underneath them, keep them alive, and, just not tear through them in the first part of this race.
Yeah, that is definitely something you're going to have to look at here as these guys make their way around. They'll have one more pace lap here. Justin Lewis going to start on the pole. We've seen him be fairly quick early in both of the previous races, but a little bit of bad luck seems to come and find him. But we'll see if maybe being out front this time is going to be a little bit different. Last time he kind of had to work his way from mid-pack up to the front. Adam Brady on Wednesday night had a heck of a run there. See what he can do on Monday nights.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see what he can do.
Ronnie Hurst sporting that title sponsor. Starting up inside the first 2 rows. He's had a little bit of bad luck here and there. We'll see what he can do in Vegas.
We'll see. Justin Lewis, though, talk about him for a moment. Starting on the pole, he has started very well all season. He's got an average start of 3rd place in the first 2 races. However, his average finish is 10th. So consistency has been lacking in that number 7 camp for the first couple of races of this season. He's looking for this opportunity. He's got a fast car. He's hoping to be able to stay out front and show everybody just what this 7 car is all about.
Now the guy you're going to have to look out for, too, is going to be in that outside row, Maxwell Caldwell. He's been pretty quick as well all season. Pace car is going to make that left-hand turn this time by Justin Lewis with the button as they get ready to set it free, roll the dice here in Las Vegas, and we are green flag racing.
Lewis gets away with a strong start, leads Adam Brady by about half a car length coming up off of turn number 2. Brady with the run, going to see where he can go. 3rd place goes to Ryan Farrell, and Maxwell Caldwell trying to battle with Michael Matta for 4th place, slides him up the racetrack. He's going to get clear. Here comes the 22 up the racetrack. Ronnie Hurst has to let out of the throttle to avoid contact. What an amazing start here on lap number 1 as we go into the 2nd 1.5 mile lap around this beautiful Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, inside, outside, side by side, they are racing hot and heavy as Justin Lewis looks like he's fading back now to P3. And this might be a strategy call. I mean, it is early, but
it is definitely going to be easy to use up your tires early on in this thing. Right now, we're looking at about 67 degrees in the air. It doesn't seem like anything too crazy, but when we talk about track temperature, that is all the way up. I mean, it's up 7 degrees higher at 74. So, I mean, it's nothing super crazy. It's a little bit warmer than the air temperature is. It's going to give these guys a false sense of grip in these tires, and I would imagine that's going to cause them to wear out just a little bit quicker as we've got 3 wide action coming up off of turn number 4, both of those Storm Performance cars. Or sorry, they look like they had similar paint schemes there. We've got a Storm Performance machine with Johnny Wood Jr. up on the top. Andrew Belisci, your points leader, coming into this race after 2 races, trying to work his way around a couple more. Right now, working the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell.
Yeah, trying to get by. They were 3 wide for a moment. And right now, Adam Brady is kind of set sail a little bit, has a half-second lead over Farrell and Matta.
He's putting down quick lap times, and we know how hard these guys were working in practice, trying to work through 10, 15, 20 lap runs. It's going to be interesting to see with Adam Brady pushing so hard. He's got about 0.6 of a second lead right now, and it's continuing to grow. His last lap was his fastest lap of the race, 30.01. See if Michael Matta and Ryan Farrell can get up there. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it is Farrell. It looks like it's spelled like Will Farrell.
Chad Jones in the 75. Todd Merkel staying up inside the top 5. Looks like Wagman's going to go down to the bottom, try and get by Johnny Wood Jr. Looks like Justin Lewis, Trevor Dalton, and Maxwell Caldwell are all kind of just hanging back here just inside the top 10. Maybe trying to save a little tires here.
They could be. This track is going to change significantly from the start of this race. Once we get about 30, 40, 50 laps in on these tires, or on this racetrack rather, we're going to see the grooves slide up the racetrack. Once the rubber gets laid down up top, guys are going to be a little bit more daring. You see the 77 on the outside being able to make the pass on Maxwell Caldwell. That's not going to last as long right now as it will at the end of the race. These tires are going to wear out as they leave the rubber down on the top side. Guys are aggressive right now on the top, but I would imagine these are going to be the guys who start slowing down earlier on in this first run.
Yeah, I'd imagine that's exactly what's going to happen here. As you said, a lot of comers and goers, and that's exactly what we've seen so far. Justin Lewis, Maxwell Caldwell, Ronnie Hurst all going backwards. One guy going forwards is going to be Derek Wagman, as he just put down the fastest lap of the race with a 29.86.
At lap number 9, that's kind of soon to do that. A 29.86 is a blazing fast lap time. However, this is a car that's up 10 positions from where he started already. This is not somebody who is showing that he wants to save his stuff. He wants to get that track position as he works his way up into the top 5. He wants to get up there as quick as possible, and he doesn't want to let anybody go by him once he gets there. The only question, Mike, is do those two things go hand in hand? Because when you push at the beginning, you really seem to fall at the end.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this first run kind of shapes up. You know, as we were talking to the guys here, it's one of those races where do you want to be fast early or do you want to be a little quicker when you get closer to that pit window? If you're trying to, you know, get closer to the front when guys are losing their tires and stuff, sometimes that can be a dangerous option as well, as instead of just driving out and trying to stay out in front. Chad Jones trying to go to the high side of Merkel.
Yeah, we see him working that middle lane coming up off of turn number 2. It's going to give him a little bit of run up on the 2 of Todd Merkel. Merkel doing a really good job just holding that bottom lane. He's been continuously running that lane, not really switching it up. He knows where his car is fast. He says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Chad Jones isn't really catching up to me. I think I might be doing a little something with Derek Wegman just in front, as we've got 3 cars under a blanket with the 43, the 39, and Michael Matta just in front.
Now it looks like Matt is having a little bit of an issue as he has faded back quite a bit off of Adam Brady. That lead for Brady is a 1.5 seconds now, so they are not they're not letting Matta just kind of fall off. They're trying to push him, and maybe it's helping, maybe it's hurting a little bit here as they're staying right in line, and Merkel's closing in as well.
Yeah, Mike, I got to believe it's hurting him right now. I think Matta might have used up a little bit too much of his stuff. He's starting to fall back. The 43 is getting a better exit, but he's choosing to stay in line behind him. I really think that's going to be hurting his corner as the leader continues to drive away. I know that we've seen this type of racing work out well when you're trying to draft somebody up there. I think Las Vegas is just a little bit too abrasive of a surface to stay behind a slower car and hope that the push works. I feel like right now, if you're Ryan Farrell in the 43, you've just got to try to get around that 16 as quick as you possibly can. Start cutting into the lead of the race leader, as now here comes a move to the inside out of Farrell in the 43.
Yeah, just as we were talking about it, he got a massive run. On corner exit, though, he's going to have to try and slide up to keep this momentum, and he will do just that, be able to clear Matta there.
He's got him cleared. Matta moves down, tries the crossover on the bottom. He's got a lot of momentum, but I expect Ryan to be able to stay strong up on the top side here. Matta's going to get clear, slide up the racetrack, but look at this crossover out of the 43. Matta up to the top side of the racetrack, and we try this once again as they are starting to close in on your race leader just a hair. Looks like that 43 car is going to get clear. Matta trying to stay there up on the top side. He's got to run, but he's going to have to stay behind this time. Put a new driver in second place. Ryan Farrell gets it done.
Yeah, Matta trying to cross him over again. Got to run, got to his rear bumper, just couldn't go anywhere. And now he's starting to lose a little bit of ground. Todd Merkel and Chad Jones have closed right up on this group. See if Merkel's going to try and go to the inside of Wagman here, as Wagman stays high.
And that 43 car, he's starting to put a little bit of a gap now on Michael Matta in third place. We'll see if Jarek Wegman's able to take this momentum. He's trying to run a wider arc and get more momentum coming up off of the corner, but Matta seeing that, he moves up to the top side to take that lane away. Meanwhile, lap in and lap out, 43 of Farrell just a little bit quicker than your race leader, Adam Brady. Getting to close to halfway in this run here. We're starting to see those comers and goers really taking effect at the front of the field.
Yeah, I'm wondering if some of these drivers that went back further in the field, like Justin Lewis here, he is down 13 spots running P14 right now. Not necessarily where I would think he would want to be, but if he's saving fuel, I mean, he's right with Polici and Caldwell here, so not really a bad spot to be as far as the guys that he's around.
Really not a bad spot to be as we see some action. Justin Lewis has fallen off considerably from where he started. His fastest lap of the race is a 30:31, which initially I believe was kind of a play to try to let other people use up their stuff. As we work about the halfway point in this run, big loose moment there. Michael Brooks has got Shane Bachler to his outside. But Justin Lewis not doing what he needs to be doing. He's a little bit quicker than the race leader at the moment, but there are drivers on the racetrack that are running quicker than he is, such as Johnny Wood Jr. up in 8th place. He's got himself a good draft with Trevor Dalton. These guys are really making up time on the drivers in front. Oh, more problems.
Looks like the 43 went into that outside wall.
Tough break for Ryan Farrell there as he was chasing down your race leader. He's going to put Michael Matta back up into second place. About 2 seconds behind the race leader.
Yeah, Todd Merkel was able to get by as well as Chad Jones. But we do have a driver on pit lane, and that's going to be Jason Crumley. Came in on lap 20.
That's mighty early to make this on 2 stops from here, or on just the 2 stops in total. That would mean he's got to stay out another 40 laps to make it to lap 60, and then another 40 to make it to the end. That's if he took his tires.
40. I would say that 43 machine looks a little loose here, as does Derek Wagman now. Like he got a little wiggle there as he was coming out of turn number 2.
Ryan Farrell not really letting things get away. Now we're riding on board with Derek Wegman. He sees the battle up in front of him. Look at that 27 of Trevor Dalton make an aggressive move down to the bottom, trying to get to the inside of Todd Merkel. Seems like that middle lane through turns 3 and 4 is just going to be a little bit quicker. Merkel not able to hold on to it up there. He's still got a side-by-side battle with the 27 of Dalton. Dalton trying that bottom side through turns 1 and 2. We'll see if that makes her, if he can make it stick.
He's trying to stay there, get in front of Merkel. Merkel's still battling, though. Everybody's in the mid-pack seems to be relatively content on where they're running. Maxwell Caldwell, Joshua Yarborough, Pleachy, Lewis, they're all running about the same.
We look up front, Michael Matta, he's just a couple of hairs quicker per lap than Adam Brady is. He's got help, and here comes Ryan Farrell back to the inside. He's been consistently quicker than both of the drivers in front of him. Had himself a little bit of a mistake, and now he's trying to capitalize on Michael Matta right in front of him. Matta doing everything he can to take away the quick lane, take away the clean air. Up the racetrack by about half a lane goes the 43. Now he's going to cut back down as the 16 slides up. Big time momentum here for Ryan down the back straightaway. Not quite enough to make that move to the inside, but he's going to send it down into 3. Can Michael Matta on the outside keep it matted down to the floor and keep that 43 behind him? Coming up off of turn number 4, he's got a little bit of momentum. Going to have this position at the line by about half a car length. But Ryan not giving up on the inside.
Yeah, not giving up at all. He is committed down there, and he seems to be able to almost hold the line even as Matta gets a little bit better drive off of turn 2, headed down the backstretch. Now Farrell goes up to the high side.
And I got just a little bit loose there coming up off of turn number 2. Just enough to scrape that corner up against the wall. Not enough to slow him down. He's definitely feeling the pressure from the 43 behind him. This battle for second place is heating up, and they are still closing in on the leader by about half a tenth a lap. I'd say we're probably 12 seconds away, or 12 laps away from pit stops. These guys really trying to get what they can on these older tires to close in on the leader, because they know how fast Adam Brady is going to be once he comes out on fresh tires.
Yeah, if you're Adam Brady, you're just going to keep logging laps, get to where you think you need to be on fuel, take your pit stop, take the tires, and get back out on the track as quick as possible here.
Farrell able to take away that second position in the 43. Starting to gap Matta a little bit more once again. We'll keep an eye on those lap times. On the left side of your screen, you can see the gap closing down. The left side of my screen looks a little weird.
Michael Matta down pit lane.
You gotta believe that's really early here. Gonna try to make it 75 laps on just one more pit stop after this. Could that be the call? Get a short pit, get some space and position on the drivers of racing around. Position, we can call it.
Yeah, Adam Brady still running away. Michael Matta, Andrew McKenzie on pit lane. Jason Crumley already on. He was on lap 19.
These guys are getting...
Interest to see if these guys start driving a little bit faster here. Maxwell Caldwell, Justin Lewis, and Polici, as they are closing in on the tail end of this fuel cycle here.
We'll see. I'm sorry for the misinformation earlier there. We've got a little bit of a technical difficulty on my end. Did check the stream, Mike. Yours is good, but my timing and scoring is about 10 laps behind. I don't understand it, but here we are. Everything looks good on your end, though, as we see Justin Lewis back up into the top 10. He's been running quicker laps than the race leader, but the drivers behind the race leader, second through fourth place, they have all been the story of the show so far. They are closing in. It is now 1.3 seconds of a lead for Adam Brady over Ryan Farrell. Getting closer and closer to this first pit stop as we've got 34 laps complete. We are officially 1/3 of the way through this race. You know, if you've made it this far on fuel, you can do it again, and you can make it from here on one more stop. And don't look now. Mike, we've got a new driver in third place, really putting the pressure on for second. Johnny Wood Jr., last week's winner. Trying to show the longevity of his car in the later stages of this run.
Yeah, he's up 8 spots. The driver I also want to take a look at here is Adam Brady. Looks like he's headed down pit lane. Is Adam Lowe. Adam Lowe coming down. Derek Wagman gets a little loose coming into pit lane, but Adam Lowe, before he pitted, was the biggest mover of the race, up 12 spots.
Fantastic job by him to be able to make up all of those spots and still hold on to the race lead. We'll see what happens as these guys continue to move forward. Johnny Wood Jr., last week's winner after leading over 110 laps out of the 125. Back up in front, right where he seems to be comfortable. When does he make his pit stop, though, as Jones and Farrell have come into the pits? Leaving just 9 drivers out there who have yet to come in for service.
Yeah, everybody else coming in.
Johnny Wood Jr., Trevor Dalton, Todd Merkel, Justin Lewis, Maxwell Caldwell, Andrew Polici, Chris Myers, John Shane Butler, and Michael Brooks. Drivers still on the racetrack. Meanwhile, here comes Johnny Wood. Here comes Trevor Dalton. Todd Merkel stays out. Justin Lewis and the 94 of Maxwell Caldwell stay out. And now there are 5.
Well, you kind of knew that was going to be the plan, the way they started to drive. Justin Lewis fading back through the field. Maxwell Caldwell back there as well. Polici hanging back. So you knew they were going to try and stay out a little bit longer. They're probably going to be a little bit quicker on the next couple runs here. See if Justin Lewis comes in this time, or if they stay out, they stay out. No, Justin Lewis just stays out. Okay.
Justin Lewis all by himself. Michael Matta, the first one to come into the pits, looks to be able to take over what will be the race lead. Got 3.5 seconds over Adam Brady. Johnny Wood Jr. just about a second behind that as he's coming up off of the pit lane. Trevor Dalton, Adam Lowe, well, coming up off of the pit lane. Cycle out. We'll see if Justin Lewis comes in this time. Gonna be a little wide. He's gonna get down to speed though. Justin Lewis, your pole setter, comes into the pits. Now Michael Matta with 3 seconds over Adam Brady, who has led so many laps from the get-go. See if Michael Matta's strategy call plays out. Lap older tires. Sorry, Mike.
I want to say at some point he's going to have to run, just as many laps as Justin Lewis did in order to make it a 2-stop race or one more stop. Because if he tries to pit 3 times, that is pretty much going to let the race fall into any driver who could make it on the single pit stop here. So might be a little rough if he starts to try and save fuel to make it to the end.
I don't know. He's really got to save. I mean, he came in on lap number 30. Everybody else made it to lap 35 or later, with the exception of Andrew McKenzie and Jason Crumley. Crumley came in on lap number 19. Andrew McKenzie followed Michael Matta into the pits on lap number 30. These cars are very capable of making it 35 laps, so if he's able to come in on lap 65, from there on out, he's good to the end. This last time around, him and Adam Brady ran equal lap times, so if these tires start to equalize out, Michael Matta in the short pit might be the way to go. Still got a long way to go, 60 laps. Man, I tell you what, Michael Matta right now looks like a master of strategy, as he's only lost half a tenth that last lap to Adam Brady on 5 lap pressure tires behind him.
It looks like almost everybody's kind of spread out once again. Adam Lowe, Trevor Dalton, Derek Wagman are the closest battle on track for the most part.
Trying to put the air to the back bumper of Adam Lowe. It's not quite as effective in these cars as it is in, say, the Xfinity car or the older machines. As looks like Wagman might have just touched the wall on corner entry there. Doesn't let him skip a beat, though, as he works to the outside of Trevor Dalton. He scrapes the wall once again, and that one does cost him a couple of tenths.
Biggest mover of the race is that 58 Ford of Adam Lowe.
Eight seconds off of the race lead. Here comes Trevor Dalton looking to the outside. That's a really sketchy spot to move up to the top there. People don't really realize how much that tri-oval tightens up on exit. Job for Trevor Dalton to keep it off the wall and still keep the attack. Here comes Wegman trying to figure out a way to go.
Yeah, Wagman, Dalton all battling pretty tough here. Go back a little ways here. We've got Maxwell Caldwell closing in on the rear bumper of Andrew Polici. What's interesting here is Chris Myers came down on lap 38, so with one lap sooner than Justin Lewis, and Justin Lewis was able to come out less than a second behind him.
Yeah, I think Justin might have, I don't know the right word, maybe misanticipated what this tire was going to do throughout the course of the first run. It seemed like he fell back trying to save it a lot, and he didn't quite get the comeback that he wanted. So we'll see if he's able to get something better this time around. He currently sits in the 12th position. He came in just a couple of laps after everybody else. He was the last driver to come in and hit the pits, meaning he's got the freshest tires. As now we see Trevor Dalton work his way to the inside of the 58 of Lowe. Try to get him clear. He's clear for right now. Can he slide up off of turn number 4? He does. Adam Lowe with a little bit of a run, looking to the top side. Nothing doing there, as he's going to have to fall in behind at 27 of Trevor Dalton.
Adam Lowe trying to get back, just couldn't do it right there. But as we were talking about Justin Lewis just ran the fastest lap of the race, a 29.83 to the leaders 30.45. So definitely making up some ground here.
13 seconds back, and now he's in a host of cars here trying to figure out the best way around. Side by side with your points leader coming into this race, Polici, trying to get a top 10 spot in this group of 4. 24, Chris Myers is looking super strong as he tries to find a way around the 94. He's going to get a little bit loose, and Justin Lewis is going to take advantage of that. Sneaks his way up into the top 10, and now he's got a big push from Polici. Can he take it to the bottom of the 94 into turn 3? Not quite.
Yeah, not quite, but you just saw how fast, if you make one little mistake, what's going to happen. And that's exactly what happened to Chris Myers there. And now Caldwell and Lewis are hooked up and see if they're going to be able to try and push their way towards the front, especially after gathering all the information on that first run. What are they going to do as Justin Lewis goes to the high side and is going to get past Maxwell Caldwell?
Justin Lewis knows he's quicker, and he knows that drafting is not going to be effective. But the way that these corners are set up, you just lose too much time in dirty air behind somebody else to give that benefit down the straightaway. So he might be able to pull this 94 along for a little while. But I would anticipate him getting a little bit more distance here as he works his way up into 9th place. Got 3 seconds between him and Todd Merkel. Chris Myers, like you mentioned, all it takes is just a little bit of something. He had a huge run down the front straightaway, got down to the inside, and looked like he was going to be able to pressure that 94. Got a little bit loose, slid up the racetrack, probably got off the gas for half a second at most. Still cost him a couple of spots here, as now he's trying to keep Polici behind him.
Well, back up front, Michael Matta and Adam Brady, that gap has now went from a couple seconds to just a half a second. So Adam Brady closing in 3/10 the last lap, 3/10 this time.
Closing in, and with that math, we should have a battle for the lead by the time they cross the stripe next. Adam Brady all the way down to the bottom to try to get some clean air as he closes in on Michael Matta. Matta doing everything he can to try to break that air. I tell you what, when the 21 is handling as good as it is, he can point that thing anywhere and he can put it there as late as he wants to in the corner. Matta runs a little bit higher, a lot of bit higher, and here comes Brady down to the bottom. A lot of speed, a lot of momentum, and he's going to give plenty of space to prevent the side draft out of the 16. Can't take away his line now as to the bottom of the racetrack goes Adam Brady, trying to take away the race lead. No matter, might have got the wall just a little bit.
Yeah, Adam Brady was able to take advantage, and he is going to start to set sail once again. We'll see if anybody's going to have anything here for this 21 Ford. Michael Matta tried a little pit strategy here, came in 5 laps earlier than Brady, and it took almost 25 laps to get caught up again.
Brady about 18 laps after his pit stop to catch up, to make the pass. He came in at lap number 35 compared to 30 for Michael Matta. Made the pass on lap number 53. 18 laps took him to get around. And what can these drivers learn from a move like that?
Well, I think it kind of goes to what we were talking about, like with Justin Lewis and these guys back here, mid-pack that fell back. They were kind of interested to see how that tire was going to hold up, and it seems like they're going to be able to use a lot more of it these last 2 runs because they went a little bit deeper in that first run.
Justin Lewis has been a couple of tenths quicker than the race leader. Last time we talked about it, he was 13 seconds back. Right now it's 9.2. Justin Lewis is trying something a little bit different here in the second run. And like you mentioned, he went further than anybody else did on that first run. So he's going to have the freshest tires. He's going to have the most capacity to attack. That's exactly what he's doing right now. Now he's within 9 seconds of the race lead. That time by half a second quicker than your race leader.
Yeah,
Johnny Hood Jr. and Trevor Dalton, sorry, Mike. These guys are also on similar paces as Justin Lewis is. Justin just a little bit quicker. Johnny Wood Jr. and Trevor Dalton both putting down lap times that are tenths a lap quicker. That time by 3 tenths quicker for Johnny Wood. Then your race leader, Adam Brady.
Yeah, it's amazing what, 5-6 laps different tires are going to do. Todd Merkel getting by Wagman as Wagman stuck to that high line. We've seen it in a few races, Liam, where one driver just loves that high line, stays up there most of the race, and it doesn't seem like they're really losing too much ground.
Yeah, it's almost like they're trying to, set the stage, plant the seed, or whatever to make that outside really blossom later on in the race. It's clear that there's speed up there, but you just wear down your tires so fast. If there was a little bit more rubber laid down, I think it'd be a lot stronger. The only problem is this is only 100 laps, 150 miles. This is a 400 lap race, or a 400 mile, I should say. We'd be talking completely different. However, we've only got 100 laps. This is almost a sprint race for these guys. We've got a battle for second place heating up here. Johnny Wood Jr. able to get around Michael Matta for second place, and he is within 2 seconds of the race lead, consistently putting down laps that are a couple of tenths quicker than Adam Brady.
Yeah, and looking at the way this race is run, everybody's going to try and stay out as long as they can on the second run to have the fresher tires for the end of the run, especially seeing Michael Matta, who pitted on lap 30, go backwards this fast.
Well, I don't know. When Michael Matta pitted, he was significantly further back from the race lead. He was at least 3 seconds. Right now he's only 2, but he's about 3 laps away from being able to split his final stage or split his final run into 2. You know, if he comes in at 65, that's 35 on one side, 35 on the other. He could potentially short pit again. And with only a couple laps difference between the tires, he might be able to get that lead extended a little bit more. Maybe have a chance at holding on, but we'll see. It is entirely possible that everybody follows his cue, knowing that they can make it to the end.
Yeah, definitely something to look at. While we got a minute, though, want to give a shout out to J&M Group Industrial Services, Michigan's #1 source for CNC and manual machinery repair services. The J&M Group, they've got you covered.
Johnny Wood Jr. closing in on the race lead. It's within a second. Provided my scoring is not incorrect, you should be able to look at the right or the left side of your screen and see that gap closing in very quickly. I know Mike's got the scoring correctly, but this time by lap number 64. Going to be another couple tenths bit into this lead for Adam Brady. He's got something to worry about in this 750.
Yeah, you know that Johnny Wood Jr. is going to be fast, and it looks like he has this figured out, as the gap is now within a half a second here as they come down the Nellis straightaway.
Well, Johnny Wood Jr., he's trying to do it in 2 completely different ways here in that number 750. Last week, he showed up, started up front, didn't really look back. Led 116, I believe, or 112 of 125 laps. This time around, he has not sniffed the lead until we get to about 2/3 of the way through this race. Johnny Wood Jr., after starting outside the top 10, makes a move down to the inside, trying to take away the race lead from Adam Brady.
Brady trying
Momentum on the...
I would say Brady's trying to stay strong on the high side, but Johnny Wood Jr. has that run down low. Michael Matta coming into the pits as well.
Michael Matta made it a little bit longer than we expected him to. Here comes Adam Brady trying once again on the inside. Pulling that 750 back to him. He's going to try to send it in. And the question is, does Adam Brady come into the pits this time? Almost a little bit of contact there. Yeah, Mike, I think you're right. They did hit there in turns 3 and 4. Neither one of them come into the pits. Michael Matta gets an extra lap of advantage on his fresh tires.
And they just barely touched there. And that's going to send Adam Brady towards the back. About half-second gap now. Justin Lewis has done a pretty good job here. He came when he came out of the pits, he was about 13, 14 seconds back, and now that gap is down to 7.
Phenomenal job here. He's been quicker than the leaders most of these laps. Just seems like execution in that first portion of the race. It's a little bit slower than he wanted. I know we talk about stage racing throughout the course of most of these seasons. The way that this race is broken down, it's almost like you want to break it down into 3 stages. Justin Lewis starting on the pole, he fell back a considerable amount in that first stage. And it seems like since then, he's been successfully playing catch-up.
Definitely. Adam Brady looks like he's going to try and stabilize this gap. Keep it about 3/4 to a second in front of him. He's got plenty of time behind him as Trevor Dalton is in 3rd place now, almost 4 seconds back from Brady.
Here's another thing to consider. The longer these guys stay out, the better tires they're going to have on the other end versus the 16 of Michael Matta. Adam Brady comes into the pits this time. Chad Jones going to follow him in. Johnny Wood Jr., Trevor Dalton, Adam Lowe, and more staying out this time. Johnny Wood Jr., your race leader. We'll see if this helps or hurts him as he's approaching the 1 second mark on the delta between his fastest lap and his last lap.
I don't know how much you're going to want to stay out and lose that time compared to your fastest lap, as these guys are within, that pit window. So almost everybody's going to be coming in at some point. And as I say that, Adam Lowe in, Justin Lewis in. So that's a little interesting to me that Justin Lewis came in a little faster than he did last time. Johnny Wood Jr.
knows he's going to be quick. Oh, Johnny Wood slides big time. Going to get it slowed down, but what a slide there. Thank goodness he's going to be taking 4 fresh Goodyears here, because if he was risking it, not taking tires, they would have been cooked. So now Trevor Dalton takes over the race lead over Todd Markle, Maxwell Caldwell, Chris Myers, and Andrew Palici.
So it looks like the drivers, with Maxwell Caldwell and Palici, doing something a little bit different than Adam Lowe and Justin Lewis. It's going to be interesting to see how they come out, as they kind of had similar strategies towards the beginning of the race.
I don't know. It just seems like, looking at the pit stop cycle between Johnny Wood Jr., Adam Brady, and Michael Matta lost 4 seconds on pit road compared to the drivers he was racing against, thus erasing the benefit he would have gained from the undercut. Michael Matta now sits behind Adam Brady. And Johnny Wood Jr. was able to get out in front of Adam Brady by about 2.5 seconds. We'll see if Adam's going to be able to close in with this short run car, as we've seen Johnny Wood Jr. just benefit with these long runs going through as he passes Todd Merkel on the inside.
Yeah, Johnny Wood Jr. getting back onto the lead lap. Johnny Wood Jr. only spent 11, almost 12 seconds in his pit box compared to Adam Brady's 15. So he must have had that calculator going, knew exactly how much fuel he was putting in, and got down and away pretty quick.
Is it possible at all that he only took 2 tires? Filled her up on fuel as much as they could. Johnny Wood Jr. had an 11.85 second pit stop. Nobody else was under 14.
I mean, I guess sometimes you have to risk it, right? It is Vegas.
It is Vegas. Here comes Maxwell Caldwell to relinquish the race lead. Johnny Wood Jr. got about 2.5 seconds on Adam Brady, and he is increasing that gap. Michael Matta has already put 10 laps on his tires, and they are really slowing him down, as his last lap is a 30.71 compared to your race leader, Johnny Wood Jr., a 30.01.
Yeah, and Adam Brady having to deal with, look like Joshua Yarborough in front of him. So slowed him down a little bit, still within 3 seconds. We'll see if Johnny Wood Jr. can go back-to-back here with less than 35 laps to go.
I'm interested to see if he did potentially take 2 tires here. I mean, that was a blazing fast pit stop. Like I said, Mike, it is entirely possible that they did the math. They figured out just how much gas they need to get in there. And we know these guys can change 4 tires in about 11, 12 seconds. However, when everybody else is upwards of 15 seconds on a pit stop, and he's down below 12, you gotta believe they did something massively different than everybody else did.
Yeah, you had to have do something different. I mean, if he did say he took 2 right sides, I mean, that was a heck of a call there, and he is going to have to do something, because Adam Brady just went off and did a 29.76 fastest lap of the race that time by. like we lost Liam there. Johnny Wood Jr., race leader. Adam Brady's going to have to deal with a couple lap cars in Shane Backler and Yarborough.
Michael Matta now working with Justin Lewis. Justin making a strong recovery here. He's within 8 seconds of the race lead. Now that doesn't sound like it's a huge recovery, but at one point in this race, he was just wrestling to stay inside the top 15. Now, what a recovery drive this 7 car has done. We knew he was fast from the get-go. Doing a great job up in 3rd place, running just a little bit quicker than the race leaders. And, well, Mike, I do have a little bit of information. You're speaking with the crew of that 750 machine. They did indeed take 2 tires. So we'll see if that's going to be the call. With 19 laps to go, Adam Brady starting to close in just a little bit, but we know how fast that 750 has been on the later stages of these runs.
Yeah, that 750 is quick, as he's looking to was looking to get by, but it looks like Shane Backler was able to get by the 750 here, so maybe he took it off just a little bit. But Johnny Wood Jr., with that 2-tire pit stop, if something does happen, he knows everybody else probably doesn't have a set of tires. So he could take 2 more and, potentially just be a little bit quicker.
He really could. He's in some dirty air right now, sitting behind that 33. He's going to want to try to get around him as quick as possible, or at least try to find a way to get some clean air to that front end. Right now, the gap still sits at 1.9 last time around. Johnny Wood Jr. just a little bit quicker by about a 1/10 than Adam Brady. 17 laps to go, and Johnny's got a little bit of a benefit here, having a car in front and behind to help him with the draft. As these tires start to wear down on this abrasive track surface, the question starts to be, how much is that dirty air in front of him going to hurt him? As Adam Brady continues to try to cut into this lead. Last time around, not a good lap for Adam Brady. It was a 30-34 compared to a 30 flat from Johnny Wood.
Yeah, Adam Brady might have been using up his tires a little bit too fast, or too much too quick, as he did have the fastest lap of the race at the beginning of this run. Justin Lewis is closing in on Brady, but Brady still has 5 seconds until Justin Lewis catches him. And Lewis is pulling away from Adam Lowe, who's back and forth.
As we take a look across, Justin Lewis is putting down some of the fastest laps of the race. Shane Bachler and Yarborough, they came in more recent. They're on fresher tires, so they're going to be a little bit quicker. But in terms of the top 5, the fastest car on track is that 7. 15 laps to go, a 5-second deficit in front of them. It's going to be tough to overcome. But I tell you what, man, Johnny Wood Jr. is increasing that gap lately. He's putting down 0.2 of a second every single lap over Adam Brady over the last 3 laps.
Gap to the leader here.
Look on the left side of your screen. It's 2.6 seconds and increasing. Justin Lewis, he's losing a little bit of time as well to the race leader, but starting to close in on Adam Brady in second. Mike, we know how strong that 750 is in the late stages of this thing. Even with the 4 fresh tires compared to 2, do you think there's anything Adam Brady can get done here in these last 13 laps?
I don't think so. I think it's pretty much up to a mistake is going to have to happen. Justin Lewis is closing in on Brady, so he might have a rearview mirror full of that 7 machine before he can get to the rear bumper of Johnny Wood Jr.
The gap for the race lead over 3 seconds now as Johnny Wood Jr. now trying to fight with the 77 just behind him. Joshua Yarborough knows he's got a quick race car. He wants to try to get around and get that lap back just in case a caution comes out. Johnny Wood Jr. doesn't want to allow that to happen. He wants to keep that push behind him. It's been benefiting him. It's been benefiting him quite a bit here with 11 laps to go.
Yeah, that's probably something that is helping him quite a bit. Justin Lewis has nobody around him. Adam Brady has no one around him. It's just those drivers trying to close in. And that's probably what has helped and stabilized that gap a little bit.
Justin Lewis, in third place. He's closing it. It's 3 3/4 second between him and second place. But while we have a moment here with 10 laps to go, we would just like to say thank you to everybody who watches us live here on Sim Racing Media. Enjoys hanging out with us for these incredible league races. The SCL Winston Cup does an amazing job, along with every other league that we work with. So if you enjoy what we do, and you're thinking about going to Miami, find us on Facebook, send us a message. We'd love to see you. We'd love to hang out. Might potentially, I don't know. It'll be a great time either way, but you might potentially meet a superhero. Johnny Wood Jr. holds on to the race lead as he has increased that gap to 4.5 seconds. Now we look at Adam Lowe working down to the inside of Trevor Dalton. This is for 4th place, and they've got 5th place Chad Jones just behind him. Or 6th place, rather.
I'll say 3 cars battling for the top 5 finishes here. Trevor Dalton, Adam Lowe, Chad Jones. Chad Jones drives it down to the bottom, going to try and take him on the inside, 3 wide.
Closing up in a hurry here. 3 wide coming up off of turn number 2. There is no telling who's going to have the advantage. The disadvantage goes to the inside, but Adam Lowe not giving up. He goes back down to the inside of Trevor Dalton in the 27.
Trevor Dalton able to hang on to that spot now.
Phenomenal job of defense with less than 10 laps to go. We've got 7 laps to go. Going to be 6. Just a few seconds when Johnny Wood Jr. crosses the stripe. Adam Brady sitting in second place. It's a 5-second interval back to second. Only 3.5 between Justin Lewis and Adam Brady, but with 5 laps to go, 6 laps to go rather, it's going to be a very tough ask for Justin Lewis to get up there. Not impossible, very tough.
Yeah, it seems like that's kind of stabilized is where the leader is from Justin Lewis. Looks like he's, been 7-8 seconds. So maybe the tires, he thought the tires were going to fall off a little bit more than they did, or there was going to be some cautions that just didn't quite happen the way he thought they would fall. So that first run is definitely going to be what kind of does it in here for Justin Lewis. He's still going to probably come home with a top 3 finish, but still a little rough as we are working the handshake lap here. 5 to go for Johnny Wood Jr.
Yeah, that's really tough to anticipate at the beginning of these things that they're going to go caution-free. I mean, you don't expect any race to go caution-free. You figure human nature, somebody's bound to make a mistake at some point. But we just didn't see that happen here. Through 2 green flag pit cycles, we saw everybody get in and out A-OK. Nobody spinning out on pit entry, nobody spinning out on pit exit. These guys have been an absolute masterclass of clean and respectful racing. And, I mean, we've seen some great battles. As we've got a great battle right now with Palishi trying to hold on. We've seen some great battles as Palishi gets up into the wall now. All throughout the course of this race, and a lot of clean battles. And we even saw that 3 wide move there for 4th place with Trevor Dalton, Adam Lowe, and Chad Jones. They got super close to each other, but gave each other just enough room as where everybody could make it through the corner. This SCL group, I mean, this is clearly a very competitive group. These guys want to take every position on the racetrack that they can, but they are incredibly clean. And I tell you what, if you guys are looking for a race or a league to race in, it might be the way to go. These guys doing a great job as Wegman gets up into the wall coming up off of the corner. Guys trying to chase down Chad Jones. And I tell you what, Johnny Wood Jr., the story of the day, the story of the last 2 weeks, to be honest. He's got just about 2 miles to bring it home, to bring home his 2nd consecutive win. And in 2 completely different fashions, Mike.
Yeah, definitely 2 completely different fashions. And it looks like he kind of turned up the pressure a little bit as he's been able to get by John Shanebackler. And he is going to set sail after the white flag final lap here in the J&M Group's Industrial Services Winston Cup Series.
Presented by Robert's Ballscrew.
Thank you.
Half a lap to go here for Johnny Wood Jr. He got the job done last week in Charlotte, leading over 110 laps in a dominating performance. Didn't sniff the lead until 2/3 of the way through this one, but he gets it done in Las Vegas. Johnny Wood Jr. takes the gamble, high risk and high reward. Adam Brady's going to come home in second. Our podium position is rounded out by Justin Lewis. Trevor Dalton and Adam Lowe round out our top 5. Chad Jones, Maxwell Caldwell, Andrew Polici, Todd Merkel, and Michael Matta round out our top 10 here today in a caution-free 100-lap, 150-mile affair in the desert in Las Vegas.
Yeah, that pit stop and that tire call is what won Johnny Wood Jr. this race. Otherwise, it would have been a lot closer between Adam Brady and Johnny Wood Jr. Maybe Brady wouldn't have used up his stuff quite so much.
It was a masterclass of strategy by Johnny Wood Jr. The 2 tires at the end, I'm sure he looked at his left sides at some point during this race and said, hey, it's not moving too much. Let's maybe keep them on and see if it works. I tell you what, man, it did. See if we can't get Justin Lewis up into the booth. Justin, it's Liam and Mike up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, boys.
Well, you threw together a pretty good race here. That first run didn't go the way that you wanted it to. We saw you fall back as far back as almost 14th or 15th. But after that first pit stop, it seemed to light a wick under you. What changed after that first run compared to the second?
The fact that it was 100 laps and I thought it was 125 laps. So I screwed the strategy up big time. I thought it was 125 when I started the thing, and then you look down and it's at 100. I'm like, oh no. I was like, well, we're committed to saving this first fuel run. So I saved. I don't think I went full throttle the whole first run. And then the car spun out on pit entry when everybody had to pit before us. So I was like, hey, maybe get a caution here. If we could pit those boys a lap down, it will flip the strategy anyway. Well, that in fact didn't happen. So we ran it as far as we could the first run. Second run, I was like, you're going to have to short pit it or something. So I just gave it all I had. And luckily, I think if I would have known it was 100 laps, I think we could have had a good shot at Johnny. I can't believe that. Plus his 2-tire call. I did that in NIS last night, and it would have won me the race, but I got turned off at turn 2, a typical NIS race. But yeah, just had one of those bonehead moves. So congrats to Johnny. I think I could have made that a lot more interesting, but yeah, we botched the strategy.
Well, you did a great job of recovering. Talk us through the rest of your day through the second and third run, getting up to third place.
Yeah, I mean, it was just pretty much, throw your you-know-what's out the window net and start driving, because we had a lot of ground to make up. And at one point, I think I know for sure on the leader, I looked down, we were like 15 and a half back. I'm like, we are so far back, we are so screwed. So when we pitted that first run, came out, we were like 15 and a half back. And then I was like, you know what, we got to lay down some heaters. So we got after it, got up on a wheel, just kind of started picking them off and kept picking them off. And then I kind of was in that rock and a hard place. Do I take 2? Do I take 4? Like, they were so far ahead. If I take 2 and they took 4, they were going to eat me alive. Or so I think, because Johnny takes 2 and I was on 4. And yeah, I think they had like a lap on me, but he gained like another half second there toward the end. Granted, he probably didn't push that hard having a big lead, but I don't know. I can't believe I misread the lap count. That's the first. I haven't done that one in a while. So all in all, it's a good recovery. It's the first freaking SCL race this season to where I've had something still go wrong, and at least we came back on this one. The other races have just botched strategies completely got in the wall last week. The week before that, we got wrecked trying to lead and win the thing. So I don't know. We'll be. I don't know where we're at next week, but hopefully we can finally get back up in the swing of things and continue this podium run we're on.
Yeah, man, we talked a little bit before the race. Your average start coming into this race was third place, but your average finish was 10th. So definitely a strong race here and a strong recovery. Is there anybody that you want to thank for such a strong run? Who helps you get it done on that number 7 Chevy Camaro?
Yeah, as first as well, Todd Merkel, he likes to put his name on the car. We haven't done him as well as we usually do in this side of things, but we got him on all of my cars for all the leagues I run, and then this one was where it started. So we try to keep him going on here. Thank Max, Todd, Trevor, Andrew for being in there, team chatting. I think Trevor had the best strategy at all of us because he knew how to do math. And then there, like I said, that first round, man, we were all like, what are we doing wrong? Like, why? Like, we're going to come back to him. It's fine. Like, we'll come back to him. And then it's just one of those deals. So, yeah, as always, thank you guys for making the broadcast good. Might have to go back and watch me at least make somewhat of a recovery run. And as always, SCL for doing what they can. We're a little light on car count. I want to see this league get back to the 30 plus cars. That's what makes this really fun. You have those guys come in. It's nice to have Johnny Wood back for another season. I know his one league, I think, ended the night Daytona started, so he missed Daytona. But since he's made 2 races, he's won 2 races. So we're gonna have to get my stuff together here. We're gonna have to go back and start racing him like we used to, and get back in the swing of things.
Some stuff, man. Congratulations on the podium finish, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again within the next few weeks.
Those are boys. We'll catch you later.
That was our 3rd place finisher. We'll see if we can get Adam Brady from 2nd place up here with Mike.
Hey, Adam, Mike up in the booth, man. How's it going?
Hey, Mike. No, it's going great. Hope you're doing good, man.
Well, you had the fastest car, one of the more dominant ones tonight, and then all of a sudden you were getting run over there by Johnny Wood Jr. What was the strategy starting off the race here tonight?
Well, I mean, the shortened or the fuel race, the way we had the fuel tonight, like you were gonna have to make 2 stops. You had 2 sets of tires, so getting close, and it was staying green to the first stop. Just keep going through that and repeat, and it worked pretty well. Not mad at second. Definitely wanted to win, and Johnny was just too fast at the end.
Yeah, we were sitting there kind of looking at times and stuff, and it looked like you were going to close in for a little bit, but then all of a sudden Johnny Wood Jr. was just able to keep going and kind of drive off, even though he took 2 tires. But it was a heck of a strategy call. You were up front, dominated most of the night. How does this set you up for next week when you guys are in Miami?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was great. It was a great race. So going into Miami, thinking this gives me some momentum because I finally got a good run in these cars, and I'm not usually solid in these, so it gives me some confidence running these cars on another mile and a half. So it'll be cool.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats on your 2nd place finish. Anybody you want to thank before we get you out of here tonight?
I mean, yeah, like shout out to the BSE boys, Josh, Adam Lowe. We ran together forever, and they do great stuff and were helpful, and then the admins and stuff putting this stuff on, putting this league on and keeping it going. So that's it.
Definitely, Matt. Well, congrats once again for your P2 finish, and we'll talk to you later.
Yeah, man, take care.
All right, and now we need to go and find our boy from Trash Can Racing, Johnny Wood Jr. Getting the job done here. It's Liam and Mike up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, you made the call of the day with the 2 tires in the last pit stop. You were able to get out with about a 2-second lead, and you just increased that gap from there on out. Talk with us about that strategy call. What prompted you to decide only 2 tires on the final stop?
Yeah, I mean, what I noticed towards like the end of those runs is the harder you actually drove the entry of the corner, the kind of the faster. I mean, it would burn your tires, but like with 10 to go, if you just kind of drove it really hard getting in, it would stop the looseness and like, maybe not spinning out, causing a self spin or something. But yeah, just noticed that it was a little bit quicker than babying the entry and then trying to get the drive off versus, making the car push, getting in. And then I think we were level getting into the pit stop. I think he pitted one lap before I did, but I remember Matta pitting 5 or so laps prior to me and Adam. I think it was Adam.
Yep.
So I figured I may need to get a little something extra out of that last run, and I knew that being that you can push it harder, taking 2 wouldn't be a bad idea if you can control the car, and as long as we didn't have a caution, which it seemed like it was going that way with last week and this week, so I kind of just took the chance, said the hell with it, and it worked out. For some reason, Adam kind of dropped back a little bit towards the half of that last stint. I don't know what happened there. I figured he was gonna, because he had like a 2-second gap, and I was like, oh boy, this might not be enough. But I don't know what happened.
Well, Johnny, this is 2 in a row for you. Last week came in a completely different fashion, leading over 110 laps en route to your win at Charlotte. This time, you didn't even sniff the lead until after lap number 66. How does it feel to be able to come at these races and attack them in different ways and still be able to get the result?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take them while I get them because it don't last long. I mean, these guys are really good. There's top 5, top 7 that's, I mean, it may not look it, but these guys are good.
Definitely got some stiff competition, and now that you've gone 2 in a row, I'd imagine you'll have a target on your back next week. I believe you're going to Homestead.
Yeah, I was just talking to a couple guys in the group chat. Yeah, I haven't really ran a full league or a full race at Homestead. Last time I did, I wasn't very good at getting up on the wall, so I know it gets super loose there. How the banking kind of rolls quick,
It should be fun to watch you next week go for 3 in a row. But before we let you go, is there anybody you want to thank for such a strong performance? Who helps you get it done in that number 75?
Yeah,
Chevy
I mean,
Camaro, I believe.
Yeah, the Kerrigan's Auto Sales, Snows Performance, and the J&M Group Industrial Service and Roberts Screws, the one that sponsors this league. So appreciate them and what all they do with Ronnie. So yeah,
Awesome stuff. Congratulations on a win once again. Johnny Wood Jr. gets the job done here in Las Vegas.
appreciate it.
That's going to do it here for interviews. And now we've got nothing but the finishing order to go through as Johnny Wood Jr. gets the job done by 6.5 seconds over Adam Brady. Justin Lewis in 3rd place, rounding out our podium. Trevor Dalton and Adam Lowe round out the top 5. Chad Jones, Maxwell Caldwell, Andrew Polishi, Todd Merkel, and Michael Matta make up our top 10 here today at Las Vegas.
Yeah, and then we got Derek Wagman, Ronnie Hurst, John Shanebackler, Joshua Yarborough, Ryan Farrell, Michael Brooks, and Chris Myers, the top 17. Got a couple other drivers here. Andrew McKenzie, Jason Crumley are the drivers that started. Josh Tired Hill up in race control. Matt Metler and Chad Waller did not start. That is where they finish.
Well, next week, we're going to have a blast in Miami. And we're not just talking about you folks watching SCL. The SRM crew is going to take it to Miami and try to get you guys some cool other angles from the NASCAR race weekend. It's going to be a phenomenal time, but just so you guys know, the show is still going to go on next week. We've got Alan Bergen up in the booth to help us out, and you guys won't miss a second of action here on SCL.
No, definitely not. Alan's going to be busy holding down the fort while we're off having some fun. But these drivers are going to continue on. They're doing their Wednesday double feature. So look forward to that as well. I'll probably be tuning in on vacation down there. But Liam, anything else before we wrap it up and get out of here?
And Johnny Wood Jr. is going to have a target on his back going into Homestead next week. And I tell you what, I will be watching from the YouTube Live. Might try to get my voice heard a little bit on the broadcast if I'm available for it. But I'm excited to be able to just watch these guys as a fan, because these drivers are incredibly talented. I mean, 2 weeks in a row we've gone without a caution flag. And, it's, even though Johnny Wood led a lot last week and, kind of took it over at the end here, it's really come down to the end into these last couple of runs for these drivers. I'm excited to see what this series moves forward with in the next 9 weeks.
Yeah, definitely. These guys put on a show. All 3 races were decided by some sort of strategy call. And that's kind of what I anticipate happening once again. But we'll wrap it up here. And from all of the drivers of the SCL J&M Group Industrial Services Winston Cup Series presented by Roberts Ballscrew and all of us here at Sim Racing Media, we'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.